My childhood friend is a rich second-generation heir who frequently hooks up with various girls. Every time they break up, the girl always asks him to spend one last night with her. Whenever faced with this breakup privilege, my friend always sends me in his place. But this time, the girl turned out to be my ex-girlfriend. 01 My childhood friend Chun Zhe comes from an extremely wealthy family, a classic rich second-generation kid. This guy's 3 favorite things in life are clubbing, drinking, and hitting on girls. He's a complete playboy, simultaneously chatting with 7 or 8 women while stringing along 20-something other beauties on his phone. What's even more infuriating is that in real life, he's actually dating 8 girls at the same time. He's simply the scum of the scum. Every time I went out with him, he was always surrounded by a bunch of young, beautiful women with great figures, and they were never the same ones. This guy plays the field like crazy, practically changing girls every day. Back then I was so envious. The jealousy was practically written all over my face, until he had to rely on Lu Wei Di Huang and Shenbao tablets to stay alive at such a young age. The envy in his heart finally began to fade away. Beautiful women are certainly appealing, but one must also learn moderation. Without it, irreversible damage to one's health is inevitable. Chunzhe had partied too hard in the past, failing to restrain himself, and now his body was severely depleted, requiring daily doses of traditional Chinese medicine for nourishment. His father even specifically instructed me to keep a strict watch over Chunzhe. I get what you mean. I'm just worried Chunzhe can't resist temptation and control his lower half. We'd barely arrived at the bar when he got completely mesmerized by the bunny girl in the middle of the dance floor, staring at her nonstop. I patted his shoulder with a laugh and said, "You're already a kidney-deficient prince. Still looking. Not afraid you'll become completely useless." Hearing my words, Chunzhe rolled his eyes at me. "Go on. Get out of here. Kid, don't talk nonsense. I've consulted a doctor, and at the latest, I'll recover by the end of next month. Just wait and see your grandpa here regain his former vigor." As soon as he finished speaking, his phone rang. He answered it. His expression instantly changed. And then he turned to look at me. "Basie, you free tonight? If you are, could you do me a solid? I promise I won't let you help for nothing." The moment I heard those words, my face instantly darkened. "Don't tell me you want me to break up with someone for you again. Come on, help me out here. We've been best buds since we were kids. You wouldn't refuse to help your bro with such a small favor, would you?" With that, he raised his glass toward me, a faint apologetic smile on his face. I felt somewhat helpless, but I agreed anyway. After all, he's my best friend. Seeing me nod, he immediately clasped his hands together and thanked me with an excited expression. "Bro, I fucking owe you big time. You literally saved my life." I knew you wouldn't say no, though inwardly exasperated. I maintained a serious expression as I looked at my childhood friend. "Let me make this clear. This is the last time I'm helping you out. Don't ever come to me again with this breakup privilege nonsense. If those girls find out it was me spending their last night with them, the consequences would be disastrous." My friend didn't seem to grasp the gravity at all, casually taking a sip of his beer with complete nonchalance. "TCH, what the hell are you scared of? Their eyes are covered. They can't see you. Just relax and stop worrying." My childhood friend didn't think it was serious at all. Instead, he took a casual sip of his beer with a look of utter indifference. "TCH, what the hell are you scared of? Their eyes are covered. They can't see you. Just relax and stop worrying. Even if something does go wrong, they'll come after me, not you. Oh, come on. You've helped me with this kind of thing plenty of times before, and none of those women ever noticed anything. What are you afraid of? Come on, let's drink." Chunzhe looked somewhat impatient as he raised his glass and tried to change the subject. When it came to this childhood friend of mine, I felt both exasperated and helpless. What exasperated me was that every time he got himself into this kind of mess, he'd always make me clean up after him. The frustrating thing is, we've been extremely close since childhood, and every time I've faced financial difficulties, he's been the first to help me out. Over all these years, the favors I owe him have become impossible to repay. So, when my childhood friend asked for help, I had no choice but to reluctantly agree. After all, debts of gratitude are the hardest to settle. 02, to be honest, having such an extraordinary childhood friend is a blessing I must have earned over several lifetimes. In this whole world, there's probably only one guy like my childhood friend who breaks up with his girlfriend and then asks someone else to have breakup sex for him. The key is, he doesn't even care at all, completely unfazed by being cuckolded, without the slightest discomfort in his heart. If it were me, I could never do something so outrageous. And this isn't even the first time, counting this one. It's happened about 10 times already. I really admire him. His heart is truly vast. Of course, I'm no saint either. If I were, I would have politely declined such an unreasonable request long ago. I once asked Chunzhe, since he had already broken up with her, why would he still agree to such a request from his ex? Guess what his answer was? It's utterly insane anyway. He told me that woman had been with him for quite some time, and there was some genuine affection between them. Plus, he's soft-hearted and nostalgic, so when someone keeps pestering him, he's bound to agree. times, but the most outrageous part wasn't that statement. It was another line. After being in love with her for so long, I have to fulfill her final request. It's the least I could do to leave us both with one last beautiful memory. I was dumbfounded after hearing this. If it's about creating beautiful memories, why doesn't he go himself? Later I realized he didn't go because he was busy spending wonderful moments with some new beauty he just met. Once it happened, it would happen countless times. Whenever breakup privileges were involved, Chunze would come to me for help. I had just picked up my glass when Chunze immediately moved closer to me with his phone. With a grin, he said, "Hey, buddy, I'm really not messing with you this time. The girls are way better than before, I swear." Skeptical, I replied, "Really? You're not just pulling my leg again, are you?" Seeing my doubt, Chunze thumped his chest and declared, "When have I ever lied to you? Man, and get this time, the girls, even a Japanese hottie. If you go, wouldn't you indirectly bring glory to our country?" How wonderful. Hearing it was a Japanese girl. A beautiful memory suddenly surfaced in my mind. I still have photos here. Take a look. With that, he handed me his phone. Taking the phone from his hand, I froze completely when I saw the woman's photo on the screen. My entire body trembled uncontrollably, my hands gripping the phone tightly. My eyes filled with disbelief and rage. Chunze didn't notice my unusual reaction and kept talking beside me. This Japanese girl is amazing. Wearing a kimono gives her a completely different vibe. Especially when she speaks Japanese, her expressions and mannerisms are just like teacher Mikami. Seriously, it's so damn hot. How did you get to know her? I cut Chunze off before he could finish his sentence. Seriously, of course it was through drinking. Every beautiful woman I've ever met, I met through drinking. Man. I didn't respond, my gaze lingering on that photograph. In the photo, the woman stood beneath cherry blossoms in a kimono, her face radiant with a sweet smile. "What's going on with you?" Chunze noticed my odd expression and leaned in closer. I grabbed the liquor, took several hard gulps, then slowly began to speak. "The woman in this photo is my ex-girlfriend." "What?" Chunze's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he heard my answer, his face full of shock. "Bae, I'd see. You're not joking with me, are you?" I said. "Do you really think I'd lie to you?" The next second, Chunze sat down beside me, looking utterly sincere. "Bae, you know me better than anyone. I would never stoop to stealing someone's girlfriend. That's just not who I am." Seeing Chunze's expression, I rolled my eyes at him. He continued, "I was dating her when you didn't even know her yet. How dare you try to steal her from me?" The woman in the photo was named Sakurako, my ex-girlfriend. I met her during university when she came to our country as an exchange student. Her Chinese was terrible back then, and she was too shy to communicate with anyone. Whenever someone tried to talk to her, she would blush with embarrassment. It was exactly this demeanor of hers that attracted me. Gradually, I started getting closer to her and began tutoring her in Chinese, until she could finally converse fluently in the language. Through our long time together, I developed feelings of admiration for her. Our school had cherry blossoms planted outside, and on the day they bloomed in full splendor, I confessed my love to her. The red sun shone upon the cherry blossoms, making them exceptionally beautiful. Yet her smiling face beneath the cherry blossom tree was more captivating than all the scenery combined. 3 Alas, beautiful things are always fleeting. After being together for a year, Sakura suddenly disappeared. It was the kind of disappearance without any warning, leaving not a single trace. Her phone was unreachable, and everyone around said they hadn't seen her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air, leaving no trace anywhere. I searched for Sakurako for half a year, only to be met with the words, "No news whatsoever." Eventually, I came to accept the truth of Sakurako's departure and started a new life. Yet, whenever I passed certain places, sweet memories of our time together would inevitably surface in my mind. Ironically, it was 2 years later when I finally received news of Sakurako again, and from my childhood friend. No less. Even more absurd was the fact that Sakurako had been in a new relationship with that very same friend. Words fail to describe how I feel right now. My chest is weighed down with oppressive heaviness and intermittent stabs of pain. Unbeknownst to me, my eyes grew moist. Chunze sighed softly and reached out to pat my back. "Damn, kid, you're just like me, a sentimental fool through and through." With that, Chunze poured himself another drink. "You two have already broken up. Meeting again would definitely be awkward. This matter, I'll handle it myself. I'll go." I interrupted him. Chunze froze for a moment, then gave me a thumbs up. "Truly my best bro." I agreed, not for my childhood friend, but because of Sakurako. Though I don't understand why Sakurako would be with my childhood friend. For these past 2 years, I've never been able to forget her smiling face. Now that I finally have another chance to see Sakurako, I absolutely won't let it slip away. I want an explanation from Sakurako. Why did she suddenly leave me back then without even a farewell or a proper breakup? After leaving the bar, I headed straight for the address Chunze had given me. The time was set. The place was the usual spot, and the method was the same old routine. Chunze had already sent the message to Sakurako in advance, telling her to wait in the room first, to prevent some women from making excessive moves midway. They would be blindfolded upon entering the room. And then I would step in to replace Chunze. Their hands would also be tied in advance, which was for my own safety. If they suddenly removed the blindfold and saw it was me instead of Chunze in front of them, everything would be over. For this kind of breakup privilege, extreme caution was necessary. Not a single slip-up could be allowed. After everything was set up upstairs, my phone finally received a message from Chunze. He told me everything was ready and I could come up now. Standing at the door of the room, my emotions were so turbulent I could hardly calm down, my outstretched hand trembling slightly. Meeting Yoko again after 2 years, and in such circumstances, felt rather absurd. Taking a deep breath, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. Accompanying me was my childhood friend Chunze. As we entered the room, I saw Ingzi lying on the bed, her hands tied and eyes covered. She lay there with only a thin sheet covering her body. Under the ambient lighting, Ingzi's figure looked as tempting as a ripe peach. Hearing the noise from outside, Ingzi slightly arched her delicate body and spoke in an especially coquettish voice. Xiao Ziz, is that you? I've been waiting for you for so long. The voice was full of temptation, sending tingles through the ears upon hearing it. What's the hurry? Just wait till I deal with you later. Chunze walked up to Ingzi and gave her a playful pat on the body. Ingzi's body tensed instantly, her hands clutching the sheets tightly, even her toes curling with effort. That look of pleasure was something I'd never seen before, making her suddenly seem like a stranger before my eyes. Chunze whispered to me, she's all yours. I'll be waiting outside. As he stepped out the door, he turned back and flashed me a mischievous grin. Keep it up. After he left, only Yoko and I remained in the room. Time seemed to stand still at that moment, with only the sound of our heartbeats and breathing echoing in our ears. It was obscured. She lay on the bed, covered only by a thin sheet, her body glowing like a ripe peach under the ambient lighting, utterly alluring. Hearing the commotion outside, Sakurako slightly arched her delicate body, her voice dripping with sweetness. Xiao Ziz, is that you? I've been waiting for you for so long. The voice was full of temptation, sending shivers down the spine with its honeyed tones. What's the hurry? Just wait till I deal with you later. Chunze walked over to Sakurako and gave her a pat on the body. Sakurako's body instantly tensed up, her hands gripping the sheets tightly, even her toes curling with effort. That look of eager to please was something I'd never seen before, making the person before me suddenly seem like a stranger. Chunze whispered to me, it's up to you now, buddy. I'll wait for you outside. As he walked out the door, he turned back and flashed me a mischievous grin. Get your best shot. After he left, only Yoko and I remained in the room. Time seemed to stand still at this moment. The sound of their two hearts beating and breaths panting echoed endlessly in their ears. I slowly walked toward Sakurako, gazing at that face that had grown even more mature and beautiful. Yet my eyes showed no ripple of emotion, only anger remained. The pungent scent of perfume filled my nostrils, making the lovely figure before me all the more captivating. I climbed onto the bed, my hand caressing Sakurako's alluring collarbone. Then I kissed her without hesitation. 2 years of torment and longing have finally found their perfect release at this very moment. 04 all this time. My thoughts of Sakurako have never ceased. I've poured every ounce of my longing into her. This feeling is like being in a dream, where everything seems like an illusory fantasy, making it all feel so unreal. The sensation of losing and regaining has intoxicated me. I indulge myself recklessly, utterly disregarding my body's exhaustion and the passage of time. This night was destined to be a sleepless one. I poured all my longing into thoughts of Sakurako until my body lost all strength and I collapsed. After gathering myself, I left the room, glancing back reluctantly at Sakurako, who had fainted from exhaustion on the bed. Perhaps if I left today, Sakurako and I would never have another chance to meet again. Though my heart is filled with reluctance, I have no choice but to leave. Sakura now has feelings for Chunze. If she sees me here, she'll surely be furious. As I stepped out of the room, my childhood friend Chunze immediately handed me an energy drink. My throat had been parched for a while, so I took it and gulped it down eagerly. You're something else, man. Keeping up with my stamina and timing, impressive. He gave me a thumbs up as he said it. I glanced down at him with a mocking grin. We're not the same. You need pills, I don't. Chunze's face instantly darkened at that, and he raised a hand like he was about to swing at me. Just like that, I left the hotel with my childhood friend, chatting and laughing all the way. Back home, lying in bed, the moment I closed my eyes, images of Sakurako flooded my mind. Impossible to forget. I lit a cigarette and stood on the balcony, letting the cold wind brush against me as I gazed at the night view outside, feeling much calmer inside. For me, everything with Sakurako was already in the past. Being able to reunite with her today fulfilled a long-held wish of mine. I should feel happy and at peace. Finishing a cigarette lifted my spirits considerably, and I drifted off to sleep in bed. I had thought this matter would soon blow over, but to my surprise, it only grew more serious. Logically speaking, Shinzei had also agreed to Sakurako's final request, so their breakup could be considered amicable, with no further ties between them. Yet Sakurako seemed unwilling to let it end there. About half a month after that incident, Shinzei suddenly came looking for me. At the time, I was at home gaming with friends, right in the middle of an intense match, when Shinzei barged into my room, yanked off my headphones, and shut down my computer. We were in the middle of a crucial team fight, and his abrupt shutdown caused us to lose instantly. Furious, I jumped up from my chair, ready to yell at him, until I saw the panic on his face and heard the chilling words he uttered. Basie, that Japanese girl is pregnant. Hearing this, I was instantly stunned, with a face full of shock. I turned to him and said, "What? You're not joking, are you? I clearly took protective measures that day. There's no way I could be pregnant." Shinzei, his face filled with anger, said, "That Japanese bitch must have tampered with the protection beforehand." I knew something was off when she agreed to break up so decisively. So this was her plan all along. Damn it, that fucking Japanese woman. Who knew she was so scheming? Even I fell right in her trap. Shun Ziming was clearly encountering this situation for the first time, his face unusually grim. I was also taken aback. I've been in a relationship with Sakurako for a year and knew her well. She was the timid type. How could she possibly pull off such a scheming move? Yet the photos she sent Shun Ziming and the paternity test couldn't be faked. The only explanation was that Sakurako had changed, become someone unrecognizable. Though Sakurako's move was clever, it was ultimately one step short of perfect. She probably never imagined in her wildest dreams that the person on the last night wasn't Shinzei, but me. Even if she's pregnant, that child is mine, not Shinzei's. Trying to use the child to threaten Shinzei is completely pointless. I looked at Shinzei and asked, "The child in her belly is mine. Why are you in such a hurry? Shouldn't I be the one who's anxious?" 05, she doesn't know it was you that night. She's been pestering me for almost a week. We must settle this matter today if it reaches my family. My father will definitely break my legs. It was clear that Shinzei was really anxious. Come out with me right now to find that Japanese woman and explain everything to her face. That child isn't mine at all. I have no reason to give her money. After you explain it to her, she can give up on this idea and return to her own country sooner. Shinzei's words left me hesitant, unsure whether I should go or not. After all, we were the ones at fault first. If Sakurako knew the truth, she would absolutely hate me. When Sakurako left without a word back then, I resented her in my heart. But if she found out I took advantage of her vulnerability, my image in her eyes would be completely ruined, not wanting to be destroyed. I said to Shinzei, "Why complicate things? You have money anyway. Just give her some to get rid of the child. Isn't that enough?" The moment those words came out, Shinzei was utterly dumbfounded. Then, looking at me, he slowly said, "But the child in her belly is yours. Then I'll pay for the abortion. Is that okay? Since I was the one who got her pregnant, it's only right that I pay for the abortion." Shinzei's next words left me speechless on the spot. "Huh? You'll pay? She's asking for 20 million right off the bat. Can you afford that? If it were just a few $100,000, I would have given it to her long ago. But she wants 20 million. That's no small sum." Hearing Sakurako's demand for 20 million made me panic. Even if I sold myself, I couldn't scrape together that much. Shinzei added, "She gave me two options. Either marry her properly or pay 20 million in child support. I won't give 20 million, so you'll have to come explain with me and tell her to stop pestering me. The trouble started because of my childhood friend, but since it's somewhat related to me, I should help resolve it." "All right, I'll go explain with you." Shinzei immediately took out his phone to message Sakurako. We set our meeting for 7 p.m. at a Japanese restaurant. When Sakurako came in from outside, Shinzei and I had already been waiting for her inside for half an hour. Shinzei's face was full of anger. Seeing Sakurako enter, he stood up ready to unleash a torrent of abuse. But I quickly stopped him, having grown up pampered and privileged. He was always the one being waited for. No one dared make him wait this long. "Sorry I'm late." Ingzi walked to her seat with her hair tied up and wearing a white dress. When she saw me next to Shinzei, her expression turned slightly startled. I smiled and greeted her. "Long time no see." Facing my gaze, Ingzi seemed evasive, lacking even the courage to meet my eyes. I couldn't tell if she still felt guilty toward me in her heart. After a moment of hesitation, Ingzi let out an awkward laugh. Long time no see." After sitting down, Sakurako never once looked at me, her beautiful eyes remaining fixed on Shinzei the entire time. Being treated like air made my heart ache. "Speak, have you made your decision?" Ingzi took a sip of tea and looked at Shinzei before speaking slowly. Shinzei snorted coldly and said, "Are you joking? Why should I give you money? That child in your belly isn't mine. Since Jinbei is here today, I'll make it clear to your face that night. It wasn't me at all. It was Jinbei. The child you're carrying isn't mine. It's his." 06 Ingzi's face immediately darkened upon hearing Shinzei's words. Even I was stunned by his words. I thought Shinzei would phrase it more tactfully, never expecting him to be so blunt, especially since Shinzei said it with such a careless, indifferent expression. I could clearly sense Ingzi's anger rising from across the room. Ingzi frowned, her gaze icy as she looked at me and said, "Tell me he's lying. Tell me what he said isn't true." At this point, hiding it is useless. I did it. And of course, I should take responsibility. I nodded, my face serious as I said, "Sakura, what Ace said is true. He didn't lie to you. That night, it really was me." Hearing my words, Sakura's expression filled with disbelief, and the look she gave Chunze was burning with anger. I took a deep breath and continued, "You and Ace are impossible. You've already broken up peacefully. So please stop clinging to him. As for the child, if you want an abortion, I'll give you the money for it. If you want to keep it, I'll pay the child support." I thought saying these words would make Sakura feel better, but I was wrong. Not only did my words fail to comfort her, they earned me her scorn instead. Sakura looked at me with disgust in her eyes and said, "You think you're worthy of being my child's father? You." I can't believe these words came from the same gentle Ingzi I once knew. Ingzi looked at Chunze with a cold smile, her face showing no anger, just an eerily calm expression. "You want to trick me into getting rid of the baby, don't you? I'm not stupid. I won't fall for your lies. I've been in this country for nearly 4 years. You can't fool me. Dream on if you think I'll abort this child." Ingzi pointed at Chunze and shouted, "I'm telling you, I will definitely have this child. You must marry me, or give me money. Otherwise, I'll go to the police and report you for rape." Damn it, I've really been too nice to you, haven't I? Ingzi's unreasonable and aggressive behavior pushed Chunze to his limit. He stood up and slapped her across the face. The slap sent Ingzi tumbling to the ground, her tied-up hair coming loose and spilling wildly. Chunze glared at Ingzi furiously. "I've made it perfectly clear to you, that child isn't mine. I won't give you a single cent. If you want to call the police, go ahead. Let's see who outlasts who." With those words, Chunze stood up and left. Seeing Chunze walk away, Ingzi immediately chased after him, not caring about her appearance. While running, she kept shouting, "Aze, don't leave me. I really can't live without you. Please don't go." Okay, by the time I chased outside, Chunze had already driven away, leaving Sakurako alone crouched on the ground sobbing. I walked over to her and handed her a tissue, only for her to slap it away with her hand. "Get away from me. I don't want to see you. You make me sick." With that, Sakurako stood up and prepared to leave. I shouted from behind, "You'd better give up on marrying Chunze. He's a player who won't fall for any woman, let alone have feelings for you." Though I was wrong in this matter. Where exactly did I go wrong? Your sudden disappearance back then, I still remember it to this day. Don't you feel even a little guilty towards me? Do you know how long I searched for you? A whole year. Don't you have anything to say to me? Hearing my words, Sakurako fell silent and stopped in her tracks. After a long silence, Sakura finally spoke. "I'm sorry, but we can't be together anymore." With those words, Sakura walked away without looking back, leaving me heartbroken and standing there, my face filled with utter bewilderment. 07 for the next few days. I didn't hear a single word about Sakurako. Worried about her, I called Chunze to ask if she had contacted him. At the mention of Sakurako's name, Chunze immediately flew into a rage, cursing her over the phone. After venting, Chunze even started trying to dissuade me. He told me not to bother with that woman Sakurako anymore, saying she was no good and not worth my time. Sakurako was carrying my child, and I was concerned about her health. As for what Chunze said, I didn't take a single word of it to heart. I asked Chunze if he had Ingzi's address, as I want to go find her. Chunze sighed over the phone, then gave me the address of a rental apartment where Ingzi had previously lived. After hanging up, I immediately headed to the apartment. When I arrived at the door, I knocked, and soon Ingzi's voice came from inside. "Who is it?" Hearing Sakurako's voice, I felt somewhat relieved. To be honest, I was really afraid she might have moved away. Fortunately, she hadn't. The door opened, and when Sakurako saw it was me, her face immediately turned cold. "How did you know I live here?" I quickly spoke up. "I can pretend that what happened when you left me never occurred. Now that you're carrying my child, we can start over, have a baby, and we'll raise it together. How does that sound?" I spoke with complete sincerity. These were words I'd spent all last night thinking through. After hearing me out, Sakurako just coldly uttered one sentence. "What right do you have to take responsibility for my child? Besides, do you even have money?" These words left me frozen in place. My monthly salary isn't high, but it's barely enough to support a woman and child. I said, "Though my salary isn't much,
I'll work hard. I'll work hard to give you and the child a good life."
Please believe me." Ingzi said, "I'd rather keep dragging things out with Ace than be with you." What makes you think you can compare to Ace? Ace has money, do you? Ace can give me the life I want. Can you? I never expected her to still be so stubbornly deluded, clinging to the fantasy that Chunze would change his mind. I know Chunze all too well. Once he said something, he never goes back on his word. After being scolded by Sakurako, I couldn't hold back anymore and exploded. "Yes, it's true my circumstances aren't as good as his. I don't have his money, but I have ambition. You're right, he could give you a comfortable life. But does he want you? Didn't you hear a single word of what he said that night? The moment that night was mentioned, Sakurako immediately became agitated. Get out. Just get out. She shoved me away and then slammed the door shut. I didn't give up after being shut out once. Instead, I became even more persistent. Every morning, I would bring breakfast to her house, though she always looked at me with disgust at first. Over time, her attitude toward me became less hostile. Sometimes when I bought breakfast, she would even invite me to eat together. I thought our relationship was growing closer again, but that was just my own delusion. From the very beginning, Sakurako had no feelings for me at all. She just saw me as a tool she could use. That evening, I deliberately bought a lot of the desserts she used to love and brought them to her. When I arrived at her doorstep and knocked, the person who opened the door wasn't Sakurako, but a burly man wearing a black tank top. The man was all muscle, with a face that looked downright menacing, clearly not someone you trust. The moment I saw him, I was startled too, frozen in place for a few seconds. The burly man frowned at me and said, "Who the hell are you?" 08, I was about to speak when I saw Ingzi being pinned against the wall by two men in the living room, still struggling fiercely. Hearing the commotion outside, Ingzi screamed, "Help!" Seeing Ingzi in danger, I immediately shoved the burly man aside and rushed in. Seeing it was me, Sakurako immediately shouted excitedly, "Chinbei, help me, quick!" Watching Sakurako being bullied, I clenched my fists and charged forward. Unsurprisingly, with their superior numbers, I stood no chance of gaining the upper hand. In the end, outnumbered 3-1, I was thoroughly beaten. They left me battered and bruised, thrown on the ground. "Who the hell are you?" "Kid," the burly man in a tank top pointed at me. I coughed twice and said, "This is a society governed by law. If you dare lay a hand on her, the police won't let you off." The burly man burst into laughter upon hearing this. Paying debts is only right and proper. Even if the police come, we're the ones with justice on our side. Pointing at Sakurako, the burly man continued, "This Japanese girl borrowed $1 million from me, promising to repay in 6 months. But before half a year was up, she took the money and ran. We spent nearly 6 months just tracking her down. Now that we've finally found her, she has to pay us back, but she says she doesn't have the money. What can we do? If she can't pay, we'll just have to send her to a media company to film." After saying this, the burly man gave Sakurako a wicked glance, his face breaking into a lewd grin. Shooting adult films is just routine for Japanese girls like her, isn't it? The moment Sakurako heard she might be forced into filming, panic immediately flashed across her face. She screamed at me, "Chinbei, I don't want to be forced into filming. Please save me. Save me. What's all the noise? If you don't hand over the money today, you're going whether you like it or not." I asked, "Isn't there any other way?" The burly man said, "Sure there is. You could just pay her debt for her." He made it sound easy, but where would I get $1 million from? At this point, my only option was to borrow from Chunzei. Gritting my teeth, I agreed. The burly man got excited when he heard I'd help Sakura repay the debt, urging me to hurry up. I told them to wait a moment, then called Chunzei. When Chunzei heard I wanted to borrow money to helping Z pay off her debts, he immediately refused. "Basie, you must be out of your mind. Why should you pay for the money she owes?" I said, "After all, she's carrying my child. Aze, I'm begging you. Just tell me this once. I'll definitely pay you back." Chunzei said, "It's not that I don't want to lend it to you. I just think what you're doing isn't worth it." I replied, "As long as I think it's worth it, that's enough." Seeing that he couldn't persuade me, Chunzei stopped trying and simply asked for my address before hanging up. A few dozen minutes later, Chunzei walked in as well. Chunzei took out a card and handed it to the burly man. "There's $1 million in this card. The password is written on the back." The burly man took the card, then called the bank to confirm the amount was correct before finally cracking a smile. Chunzei extended his hand. "Hand over the IOU." The burly man passed the IOU to me, and I took it and immediately tore it to pieces. "I've already paid you back. If you dare bully her again, I won't let you off." The burly men left without saying a word. Seeing Chunzei repay the debt for her, Ingzi wanted to cling to him. "I've got things to do. I'm leaving now." Chunzei didn't give Sakurako any chance to speak and immediately walked away. Only Sakurako and I remained in the room. Just as I was about to comfort her, I heard her say, "I'm tired. You should go back first." There was nothing I could do but leave. The next day, when I went to look for her again, she had already moved away. Just like back then, without any warning, she vanished into thin air. Even her phone number was unreachable, and WeChat showed I'd been blocked. Only then did I realize something was wrong. She'd disappeared the very day after I helped repay her debts. I immediately called Chunzei to tell him about the situation. Chunzei scolded me over the phone, calling me an idiot for actually believing that Japanese girl's nonsense. Over the next few days, we kept searching for Sakurako while gathering information about her. In the end, we uncovered some leads. Turns out Sakurako was in cahoots with those burly men. They had come this time to swindle Chunzei out of money. But when that failed, they shifted their focus to me. In the end, she managed to swindle $1 million from me and then just left. Just like that, I was saddled with $1 million in debt. When I learned the truth, I was furious and only wanted to find Sakurako to demand an explanation. But Shunze told me Sakurako had already returned to Japan. There was no way I could find her. I collapsed to the ground instantly, feeling like a complete fool, deceived by her once again. The end.